The White Sox are one win away from a series sweep. Do they get the job done? We're going to talk about it. This is Krusty Case from the Global Boys Network here, bringing you the slate preview for April 28th. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks, but more on that later. Let's hop right into it. Our first game on the slate is the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Atlanta Braves. This is Ben Lively versus Bryce Elder. Elder made his first start of the season last week. Looked great. I expect him to pitch well here. Cleveland, low pitches per plate appearance. He should be able to pitch deep into this game. On the other side, Ben Lively, I think you look at his strikeouts. Atlanta, for whatever reason, is starting to swing and miss a ton, quickly climbing up the strikeout leaderboards. So for me here, it's a Ben Lively K's and a Bryce Elder outs. Our next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on the Baltimore Orioles. This is Paul Blackburn versus Albert Suarez. Paul Blackburn is the unquestioned ace of this Oakland team. He's looked really good this whole season, except for last start. Struggled a bit against the Yankees. It was kind of expected, though. It's a tough lineup for anybody to try and work against. Suarez has looked really good. Gets a great matchup here against an Oakland team that's not hitting the ball well. So I think we can see a little bit of a pitcher's duel here. Both these guys like to work quick. Both these guys have been pretty efficient. Give me a first 5 under. I think it's a great spot for it. I think these guys can really hold the other lineups down, at least to start this game. And before we get into the Oakland bullpen, we will be long gone with our money. Our next one is the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. As it sits right now, the Dodgers have not announced a pitcher, but they will be going up against Kevin Gausman. In this one, Gausman has looked pretty good. He's kind of looked like his old self lately. Velo is coming back. I am a little bit concerned, though, against this Dodgers team. We've seen them really wake up in Toronto, and I think the bats stay hot. Give me a Dodgers team total. Curious to see who they put on the mound in terms of taking a side, but I think they put up runs. Gausman struggled with his command overall this season. Walks are going to be an issue, and Dodgers are going to put up runs because of it. Ohtani's been white hot, since they got to Toronto. I think that stays the same. Dodgers team total, and go about your day. Our next one is the Kansas City Royals taking on the Detroit Tigers. This is Michael Wacha versus Tariq Skubal. Tariq Skubal has been outstanding this season, the ace of the Tigers without question. I think he continues to be the ace here. This Royals team doesn't really scare me against left-handed pitching. I think Skubal could easily pitch deep into this one. Should be able to take control of this game. I do lean under on strikeouts just because Kansas City's been doing really good at putting the ball in play. But I think Skubal has a lot of success here. Michael Wacha, elite ground ball pitcher. This Tigers team could just beat the ball on the ground time after time. And I think Wacha is going to be able to pitch deep into this one. Should be a bit of a pitcher's duel. Similar situation here where I like a first 5 under. I love these starters to deal and be efficient. Our next one is the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the New York Mets. This is Lance Lynn versus Jose Quintana. This is an interesting one because typically I'd like to back the Cardinals against a left-handed pitcher, but against lefties this season they haven't been great. Quintana, not great this season, not nearly what he was last season, so I'll be curious to see how he handles this Cardinals lineup. For me here, though, I like the over. You have Lance Lynn, who in my opinion is due for some regression. He was a certified turkey tosser last season. He's been a little bit better this season, but against this Mets lineup, I think he's going to struggle big time. They're coming off a game where Sonny Gray absolutely shut them down, so I expect them to get the bats going, put some runs up here, and I think the Cardinals can match on the other side against Quintana, who's been every bit as average as Lance Lynn. Our next one is the Washington Nationals taking on the Miami Marlins. This is Patrick, the turkey tosser Corbin, versus Ryan Weathers. Certified turkey tosser Patrick Corbin. The only problem is Miami is not hitting left-handed pitching. So here, I lean with the first 5 under, maybe at a full game under. Both these offenses stink. You're seeing 2 pitchers who aren't great, but they have stuff that's good enough to keep these offenses at bay for sure. So I go with the under. It's going to be gross, but Patrick Corbin is going to find himself pitching into the 6th, 7th inning here, and you're going to look up and say, wow, it's 1-0 Washington. Ryan Weathers, not great either, but he's pitched pretty well this season. And against this Nationals team, I'm not scared of them. They're not hitting the ball well. So give me the under. It's going to be gross. Our next one is the New York Yankees taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. This is Marcus Stroman versus Tobias Myers. Tobias Myers made his Major League debut about 5 days ago. He looked pretty good. Against this Yankee team, I'm a little concerned with the walks. Obviously, they see a ton of pitches per plate appearance. Overall, they're not striking out a ton. Been a little bad lately, but nothing they can't fix. Myers of the minors, pretty good strikeout stuff, right around 30% K rate. Doesn't really transition directly in the bigs, so I expect him to be probably around 20% once he gets a few starts under his belt. Take a lean to his under Ks here and over his walks, whatever it may be. I think he's going to struggle with this Yankees lineup. Stroman has not looked good, and he's facing a Brewers team that is crushing right-handed pitching, 128 WRC plus over the last 7 days. So for me here, I'm looking at the over. I think Stroman's going to struggle. I think Tobias Myers is going to struggle. When you're putting guys on base, you're bound to give up runs. So give me runs. No interest in a side here. Our next one is the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Chicago White Sox. This is Zach Littell versus Eric Fetty. For me here, you have the White Sox who have won 2 straight games for the first time all season. They celebrated today on a walk-off winner like they won the World Series. So I'm going to fade them here. Littell's been outstanding. I think he's going to shut down this White Sox lineup. These past 2 days, they faced Savale and Zach Eflin, heavily reliant on their sinkers, and that's actually like one of the few pitches that the White Sox handle pretty well. So it wasn't like a huge surprise that they were able to put up runs. In this one, though, you're going to get Littell, heavily reliant on a splitter and a slider, 2 pitches that they don't handle well. We've seen Joe Ryan absolutely pick apart this White Sox lineup using basically the same combo time and time again. I think Littell's going to do something similar here. I expect him to go 6, maybe even 7 innings, and easily rack up, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. This White Sox team, 26% K rate versus right-handed pitching, and about middle of the pack in terms of swing metrics across the board. So not great. You're going to see guys like Danny Mendick, Robbie Grossman, tons of high K guys in this lineup, probably at least 5 or 6. Fetty, he's been serviceable. KBO MVP, but at some point I feel like Tampa's got to wake up. Is it going to be here? I hope so, because I think they win this game, but I'm not sure I'm willing to back them in any capacity in terms of runs. So just give me Littell to shut down the White Sox, and I think Tampa gets the win. I'm just not sure how they get it. Our next one is the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Texas Rangers. This is Andrew Abbott versus Dane Dunning. Right away, Dane Dunning K's. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't really care what it's going to be. This Reds team is incredibly undisciplined. Strikeout rate is through the roof right now, right around 28% against right-handed pitching. Contact rate, bottom 5. Chase rate, top 5. They are everything you want metric-wise in terms of a team when you're attacking the strikeout line. On the other side, Andrew Abbott has really struggled to miss bats this season. Big-time regression compared to last year. I think he only has maybe 10 whiffs on the season. It's actually kind of incredible. This Texas team is striking out quite a bit against left-handed pitching. I'm just not sure Abbott has the stuff to do it, so I'm not really interested there. I think a Rangers team total, I think they get the bats going here. They got absolutely shut down by Hunter Green. He pitched an absolute gem in their last one. So I think here against Abbott, it's a great spot for the bats to bounce back. Like I said, Abbott not missing bats. Balls are going to be put in play. And if you're putting balls in play, they're going to start falling at some point. So give me Texas team total. Give me Dane Dunning K's. Wouldn't even be opposed to a Dane Dunning outs. I think he pitched deep into this one against this Reds team. Our next one is the Houston Astros taking on the Colorado Rockies. This is game 2 of the Mexico City series. This is Framber Valdez versus Austin Gomber. Framber has not looked great this season. He did miss his last start, so I'll be curious to see what the leashes he has here, especially with the higher elevation. Rockies don't really scare me offensively. They're not hitting the ball well. Obviously, with the elevation of Mexico City, you don't have to hit the ball well to hit it out. We saw that in the first game. There was, I believe, 16 total runs scored. So I'm expecting a similar situation here. Austin Gomber on their side, absolutely terrible. You're getting a Houston Astros team who is the best left-handed hitting team in all of baseball. I believe WRC plus in the 130s. So I expect Houston to put up runs. Houston team total, I'm sure it's going to be ridiculous because the game total is going to be probably 17. But Houston team total, I think you take that over all day long. Austin Gomber, sadly, I think you probably have to leave his outs alone because they're just going to leave him out there to wear it. They use quite a few arms today, so I'll be curious to see what they do in terms of what comes after Gomber. Framber, like I said, no interest in really backing aside here, so just give me Houston team total. I think you look at any other bats to hit a home run, the odds are going to be pretty terrible. I think they go off. Our next one is the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the San Francisco Giants. This is Jared Jones versus Keaton Winn. If you follow baseball and you don't know who Jared Jones is, then you probably live under a rock. This guy has taken the MLB world by storm. I want to say 60 whiffs through 5 starts. The guy is absolutely incredible. Strikeout stuff is insane. He is 100% matchup proof. So I don't see how you don't look at his strikeouts here, regardless of what it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be around 6.5. The Giants, overall, striking out quite a bit. They are better at home, but I just think Jared Jones, like I said, matchup proof. The stuff is unbelievable. 100 miles an hour on the fastball, plays anywhere. I don't care where you are. Keaton Winn on their side, he's been pretty good this season. Pittsburgh, not hitting well at all. On this road trip, they've been absolutely terrible. I want to say Jordan Hicks had 9 or 10 strikeouts against them. And the day before, I believe Kyle Harrison had 7 or 8. So, this team just not hitting well, striking out a ton. I think Keaton Winn can pitch well. Give me a full game under. I think both these teams struggle to score. We're going to get to see some good pitching, some bad offense. It's going to be ugly. Give me the under. The next one on the slate is the Minnesota Twins taking on the Los Angeles Angels. It's Pablo Lopez versus Reed Detmers. Probably one of my favorite pitching matchups on the entire slate. I love both their strikeouts. Obviously, we know the Twins are the highest strikeout teams in all baseball. The Angels are not far behind. Metric-wise, they're both bottom 5 in contact, bottom 5 in zone contact, bottom 5 chase contact, however you want to look at it. They are bottom 5. In terms of swing metrics, top 5 in chase, top 5 in swing percent, but they're not making contact. So it's a great spot for strikeouts. Both these pitchers know how to use that to their advantage. I think they can rack them up. This would be a spot where I would look at like a dual K ladder. Hopefully we get decent lines. You could probably start them, hopefully around 6 and get even money for that and then work your way up. The next one is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Seattle Mariners. This is Brandon Pfaadt versus Logan Gilbert. I'm really curious what Logan Gilbert's going to do here. George Kirby just absolutely took apart this Arizona lineup, a team that I felt was extremely K adverse. George Kirby embarrassed them. When I see he had 8 Ks through 3 innings, I'm not sure what he finished with, but he was outstanding. Logan Gilbert, his stuff is every bit as good. I'm curious to see what his K line opens up at, and B, what he does against this team. Diamondbacks overall are a K adverse team, but as they've added pieces like Jock Peterson, Eugenio Suarez, they're getting some guys who are up there in K percent. So it is a team that you can attack for Ks depending on the lineup. So I'll be curious to see who it is, and depending on who it is, I'll be either in or out. Brandon Pfaadt, I don't see how you don't look at his strikeouts. Slider is outstanding. Changeup, not great, but good enough. And Seattle leads the league in K percent right now versus right-handed pitching at 30.1%.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Our next one is the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the San Diego Padres. This is Taijuan Walker versus Michael King. Taijuan Walker, major league debut for this season, starts right here. And coming off injury, I'm expecting to be on a bit of a pitch count. My guess would be five innings, around 75 pitches, just from what I've been reading. I think he's going to struggle here with this Padres team. They haven't been good in the series overall, not hitting well at all. They got shut down by Aaron Nola, shut down by Ranger Suarez. But Taijuan Walker is that guy who I think can get their offense going. Wasn't great when he was healthy, and I think that continues to be the case here. On the other side, Michael King had an absolute implode of a start against Colorado Rockies. Looked great through about 3 innings and then just completely lost the zone. I don't believe he finished the 5th inning in that one. Tough spot here against this Phillies team. They're hitting the ball really well, taking a lot of pitches, extending at bats. It could be a similar situation here, truthfully. Give me the over. I think both teams get the offense going. I think the Phillies continue to stay hot. Like I said, the Padres bats finally wake up in Game 3 of this series.
What's going on, everybody? I just want to take this moment to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Sleeper Picks. Thank you for sponsoring this video. And don't forget, you can use code GOLDBOYS for a $500 deposit match on your first deposit. Thank you, Sleeper Picks, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the bets.
The last one on this slate is the Chicago Cubs taking on the Boston Red Sox. This is Hayden Wesneski versus Tanner Houck. Right away, Wesneski, he was a starter last year for a bit. Moved kind of back and forth between being a starter and going to the bullpen. This year, recently called up, been out of the bullpen. Going to get a start here. I don't expect him to go very long, maybe 3-4 innings. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and ultimately he struggles the 3rd time through the order. So I expect it to be relatively limited. Like I said, 3-4 innings tops, 2 times through the order. Whether that be 3 or 4 innings, we'll have to see. Fastball slider. I think he can pitch well enough in the time that he's in, but no real interest in backing him in any capacity because I don't expect him to be in very long. Tanner Houck, obviously been outstanding, one of the best pitchers in baseball this season. Gets Cubs team striking out a ton as of late, 27.4% versus right-handed pitching. He has an unbelievable splitter, unbelievable slider. I think he runs it up here. I'm curious what the K line's going to be at, but I'm going to be on Tanner Houck over his strikeouts, whatever it may be. I think it's a great look. This Cubs team loaded with K potential outside of like 2 guys in Nico Horner and Miguel Amaya. So give me Tanner Houck strikeouts. That does conclude our slate. If you guys do me a favor, if you like what you heard, like what you see, drop a like, drop a comment, let us know what we can do better. As always, you can find all my plays at goldboys.com. And if you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. Thanks, guys.